The newlyweds were just about to take the next step. The daughter suddenly rushed into the room and asked her stepmother why she did it. The couple jumped out of bed. The rebellious child kept asking her stepmother why she threw her doll in the rubbish bin. It was the last gift she got from her own mother. Gina was also puzzled. She loves her husband's children very much. She wouldn't have thrown their things away. And her daughter Maya wasn't lying. She did see the doll in the bin. And since she didn't like her stepmother, she subconsciously thought it was Gina. At first, they both thought it was a misunderstanding. But soon they realized there was something else in the house besides them. The next day, Gina wanted to clean up the basement of her new home. Not long after she went downstairs, she heard rapid footsteps coming from upstairs. Gina called out her youngest son's name, but no one responded. Then she suddenly heard her son screaming for help. Gina rushed over. It turned out that her son had run downstairs and fallen. She rushed to help her son up the stairs, but at that moment, a strange scene appeared. It seemed that someone was watching them from the corner of the basement. Late at night, Maya had a severe fever. She had nightmares. When she woke up, she was in a trance. She saw what appeared to be a figure slowly approaching her. At first, she thought it was the spirit of her mother coming to see her. The next moment, she screamed and woke Gina up.
Maya? Maya? Maya, the door is locked! Maya, open the door, please! What? Maya!
Through the lock, she saw Maya struggling with a force that seemed to be holding her down. Gina had to break through the door. Luckily, Maya wasn't hurt. She didn't even know what had happened, but she remembered seeing her own mother. After a while, Maya said she wanted to sleep in her brother's room. She said she was going to sleep in her brother's room because the two of them used to stay together when they were sick or upset. After Maya left, Gina started to help clean up the broken glasses. She found a beautiful antique necklace. At first she thought it was a gift from Maya's boyfriend, but she didn't realize that Maya said her boyfriend wouldn't give her something so tasteless. That's strange. The necklace wasn't Maya's and it wasn't hers, and the husband is away on a business trip. Then whose necklace is it? At night, Gina picked up her son from school. When she entered the room, she heard loud singing throughout the house, and it wasn't from a single player. Everything in the house that could make noise was turned on. Gina thought it was another one of Maya's rebellious acts, but then she turned off all the stereos and realized that Maya had just been dropped off by her boyfriend, which means someone else must have been in the house before they got back. It wasn't long before her husband returned from a business trip. Gina, who'd been holding her breath for 3 days, immediately told him what had happened, but she didn't expect her husband to think it was just a child's prank. Thinking that her husband was busy at work, he should take care of things at home himself, Gina couldn't say anything more. Remembering the strange phenomena at home, her intuition told her it should be the house. Go online and check. It turns out there was a murder in this house 30 years ago. A 42-year-old woman committed suicide inside the house, leaving behind a young child. Although the recent events are very strange, Gina doesn't believe in ghosts, but the more she ignored it, the more strange things happened. One day, Gina came back from a night out. Gina saw a figure running into the forest from her house. She couldn't stand it any longer, so she grabbed a shovel and chased after him. She yelled at him to stop. Stop looking for us. At that moment, she was surprised to find that all the rubbish on the ground were packages of snacks that had disappeared from the house. Now we can basically confirm there really is another person hiding in the house. Gina couldn't stand it any longer. That night, she told her husband that she wanted to move out of the house. When he didn't believe her, she dragged him into the woods. But the mystery man seemed to expect her to do that. He cleaned up all the rubbish. Now her husband thought Gina was mentally ill because of her pregnancy. He said he'd take her to see a doctor next time he came back from a business trip. And Gina was good-natured. She didn't make any more trouble. But what they didn't know was that the mystery man was hiding in the corner listening to their conversation. And the husband's words just now put them in an even more terrifying crisis. That night they found a dead rat in Maya's bed.
What's going on in this place?
Wait, what do you mean?
I've been hearing strange noises at night, and my things keep disappearing. Something is wrong in this house.
Hey, why didn't you say anything?
I should have. But I was listening when Dad was saying your imaginary things the other day. I didn't stick up, and I should have.
Gina confessed to Maya that she thought there was someone else in the house. She wondered if it could be Maya's boyfriend, but Maya says he's not that kind of guy. There's no point in arguing about it. The two of them decided to move out tomorrow when her husband came back from his business trip. Tonight, they'll share a room for the night, for the safety of the children. Gina was afraid to sleep and stayed with them. But she couldn't resist the long night and fell asleep. After she fell asleep, the circuit was suddenly cut. Then a pair of big feet walked in. The mystery man sneaks up on Maya and seems to do something. The floorboards creaked, waking Gina. Gina saw the figure flickering away and chased after it. She followed the sound to Maya's room. she found the wardrobe open and noises coming from inside. She searched the wardrobe and found that there was a partition inside. Gina bravely went inside. Through the gap, she found that she could see into her own room. Now Gina can't help but feel a chill down her back. This guy has been secretly spying on her for so long. In order to catch the mysterious person, she climbed down the ladder at the end, and the scene at the bottom was even more unexpected. There was a bed and all kinds of tools. There was a small door under the partition. Inside was a suitcase.
Just get inside.
Gina didn't dare to resist, so she agreed with the man to go back. The man kept saying that this was not the way to meet someone for the first time. He even hit his head from time to time. He seemed to be mentally ill. Gina started banging her head to wake Maya up. Suddenly, the man taped her mouth shut and tied her to the wall. When Gina doesn't make any more noise, the man starts talking to himself. At this point in the film, the director finally reveals the mystery. The man is the son of the previous owner. After his mother's death, he was sent to an orphanage where no one adopted him. When he grew up, he missed his mother so much that he came back to this house. He says he's been lonely for the past 30 years, until Gina came along and made him feel her love again. And the reason why Maya was screwed over so many times was simple, because the man didn't think she was worthy of a daughter. He wanted to avenge Gina's death. At that moment, Maya woke up from her bed at dawn. When she saw that Gina wasn't with her, she started looking around the house.
Melissa?
She broke my chain. My mother gave me that chain.
Maya looked at the man's footprints on the floor and realized that Gina might be in danger. She rushed back to her room to call the police, but the man stole her mobile phone. She grabbed her brother and went downstairs. She took her brother downstairs and tried to wire the antique phone and dialed the police. The man ran back to the basement and kept saying, "I can't do it. I have to finish the job." Then he took out the stolen pregnancy test and said, "You know what? You're pregnant. I can't let you be someone else's mom. You have to be my mother." And then he puts a rag with a potion on it and knocks Gina out. Then he puts a dress on her and says he's going to take the baby out of her. On the other hand, Maya told her brother to run away, as far away as possible. Don't come back until mom and dad call you. Then she went back to the house and tried to get Gina out, but when she opened the door, the man pulled her into the basement. Hearing the screams, Gina wanted to do something, but it seemed too late. She climbed back to the table and pretended to be unconscious, waiting for the right moment.
Leave my daughter alone! Don't let
At that moment, the man had a headache. This gave Gina the perfect opportunity to escape. Gina ran up the ladder back to Maya's room. She immediately put the bed against the wardrobe. Then she quickly ran downstairs and locked the basement door. But just as she was about to leave the house, the man burst through the wall. Gina begged him to let her go, but he told her that Gina was her mother and wouldn't let her go. At that moment, Maya's screams came from outside the door. This gave Gina a lot of courage. She said, "I have my own family." Then she pushed the man down. The man fell on a nail. In a moment, he was screaming for his mother like a wounded child. Gina couldn't bear to see this. She came back and comforted the man like a mother.
My mom. My mom. She died. Stay.
At the end of the story, the police arrived at the scene and took the man away. After this incident, the two children officially accepted Gina as their stepmother.